hello. Welcome to Pepper's Echo. My name's Andre, and yes, hopefully it's going to be a good evening tonight. Well, thanks. Welcome, Hendo, Cameron, and Buzzy. So good to see you guys. Buzzy, you know what? I'm probably one of your most difficult customers that there is because you always got to run around freaking wiping the nappy on my ass and wiping my nose and cleaning my ass to get things done and get things right. And I just wanted to say that I'm extremely, extremely grateful for everything you do, and I'm running a really, really busy week. Let me just see if this thing will go down to it. Then I'm taking out the pictures up there. Okay. I don't know. Is it better? Worse. Alison, hello, Alison. How are you, you lovely young lady? And yeah, welcome, Hendo. Oh, good old Hendo, always there. But yes, as I was saying, Orbot. Our very own Gordon Ramsay is here as well. Well done. Hello. Um, but yeah, to everybody out there, whether you know it or not, happy Father's Day. I really hope that you have had an absolutely awesome Father's Day. I really hope that you're all Stormers supporters and that your day was as awesome as their win. Yes, it was quite amazing. This is why I'm looking like I don't want to say what I look like, but yeah, because I sat up until 3 o'clock this morning watching the rugby match, and it was really, really so worth it between the Stormers and the Bulls. I'm just so happy that the Stormers won. I was sort of half and half wanting to game and watch the match and wanting to game and watch the match, and eventually like gaming went out the window and I was on the edge of my seat throughout that game. It was really, really brilliant. So yeah, well done to the Stormers, and a happy Father's Day to all of you guys, whether you know it or not. If you get that secret little card in the mail today, it's not a Valentine's Day that's late, it's a Father's Day that you're just not aware of. But yes, welcome. And then to the other gents and ladies, oh, you got your notification now. Thank you very much. But yeah, no, Buzz, thinking of you, thank you very, very much for everything that you do. I know I don't say it to you, and I'd like to say it publicly that I really, really do appreciate you just like carrying on and keeping up with it. Really, really saying prayers and thoughts for your mum and for yourself as well, because you're such a lovely, upbeat lady that it's wonderful to always hear from you. Or and you know, I know I'm an absolute schmuck when it comes to returning messages on time and things like that. So it has been and now all we got to speak nicely. The missus is on. Hello, me dearie. I love you very much. Right. But yeah, happy Father's Day again to everybody. And then just as I start off, and I have been neglecting their shows horribly this week because I've had, man, a week that I don't want over again. It hasn't been a bad week. It's just been so damn busy. I've been felt like a dilapidated used bus ticket with all the exams and everything. Ina still is Ina suffering from that hangover, or are you suffering from the hangover, Hendo? Because I'm assuming you're a staunch Stormers supporter. Okay, but yes, getting back to who I've neglected, usually very, very much Chris Wyatt. If you're wanting to know anything, what is happening with the news, the views, at least I didn't come on Bubble But if you need news, views, especially South African news, there's a young gentleman in Pennsylvania in the USA that has better news than the news stations in South Africa and better views and insight into it. Is Carl here? I didn't see Carl now. Where's Carl? Did he come on? If he is on here somewhere, hello, how's it? I'll be seeing you soon. Oh, there we go. Happy Father's Day. Happy Father's Day to you as well, Pastor Coral. And I hope you are cleaning out your your diary for breakfast, because in a month's time I will be there. And the nice thing is, I will be. I'm your elbow cough. I will be there in a month's time. And the nice thing is, we've made sure that we are in Alberton for the weekend. So we will be attending church on Sunday morning, 20th, 21st, 22nd, 23rd. I think it's the 23rd of July that we will be, gracing you with our presence, or you will be gracing us with your presence. And make sure you've got a breakfast morning set aside there somewhere along the line. More on that a little bit later. But yeah, getting back together again. Coral, I really need to get to, you know what? Hendo just reminded me as well. Get hold of Chris. We need to talk about the genocide sometime, and it's just flown in my ear and right out of my elbow. I need to get Chris. I don't know if he's already maybe miffed with me because I haven't contacted him yet. Coral's got to come back on again. I know he's like, any day, you just let me know. And I've just been in a tumble. It's just coming to the end of the year and Cambridge exams and term 4 exams, and it's just like landing left, right, and center on top of me. I have this very notion just to pack up what I'm doing and go back to teaching again. And so I don't have to worry about anything else but my class and my kids. But getting back to our neglected people, Chris Wyatt, everything and anything that you need to know about News Africa, South Africa, with the insight in that. Chris Wyatt, Indaba Africa, please subscribe. Go ahead, smash that subscribe button for Chris. And while we are talking about subscribe buttons, let's I haven't used that in a while. Like and subscribe on Pepper's Echo. We're actually doing well. Buzzy, Hendo, Cameron, we're actually doing quite well in the subscriptions and that there. Thank you very, very much. Yeah, thank you, Buzzy. I'm allowed to be human. I'm just becoming a little too human there. But yeah, Chris Wyatt in Indaba Africa, the next young gentleman, and I'm hoping to be able to get to see him if I actually get off my bum and actually send him a note through, would be Ronaldo Gous. Jump over to his channel, Ronaldo Gous. He has some really, really good chats, some great insight, and what a nice chap. I was actually taking a look in May, I think it was, a year ago that I actually had him on the show. Maybe take a look at getting him back on as well, if we can get the rest of the people on. I had to refresh my stream, did not start. Okay. And then there's... who else? The absolutely ravishing Rebellious Ruth is always on as well. Don't forget to pop over to her channel. She has really, really interesting people there. So do zap over to Rebellious Ruth. Morning Shot isn't every day anymore. It's now and again. So yeah, but you can take a look at him and go and see. I do not see them every day. They used to be a regular morning of mine, but not anymore, because they're on now. I think they've got more of an in-depth show going on as well. But if you want to know news and that, definitely Chris is your man to go to. But yeah, other than happy Father's Day, I hope it's been, and I don't need to rub this in. I know Pastor Coral is on today. But well done, Stormers. It was an absolutely amazing match. I don't know who of you watched it. I've stopped my Stan subscription because I wasn't getting to watch all my rugby matches and that. So I watched it through another method last night, but I got to see the match. And wow, I was on the edge. Sorry. That's me. Cheers. I watched it throughout to the end, and it was nail biting. It was really nail biting. It was really, you know what? It just goes to show South African rugby is still on the map. It doesn't matter what we want to say or how we want to say it or where we want to put it. South African rugby is still on the map. And I'm really looking forward to the test match. I think it's at home that they're playing in July against Ireland. I'm looking forward to that, where you can actually now see that, you know what, we're not second-rate players. We're world champs for a reason. And there goes. Both South African teams in Cape Town in the final. One had to win, one had to lose, and it was such a close match. Thank you very much, Cam. There is for Ronaldo Gous, and there is one for Morning Shot for Roman, and the Ravishing Rebellious Ruth. Please click on there and go and subscribe to these people's channels. These people absolutely, you know what? It's just a nice daily chat, and that's what I'm having today. I've got a little bit of video that we can carry on looking at the streets and things like that. But yeah, it's a nice daily chat. Then again, I'm going to remind you, the mom and little girl for the Family Foundation have moved into their house. Ecstatic to be out of a chicken coop. What we got here, playing Ireland and Wales next month. That's right, yeah. Looking forward to that. And well, you know what? These two ladies are really something phenomenal. Yes, guys, Buzzy's Moments has a Telegram group, and it has really interesting clips and things and notifications of note. Please don't forget to rush over there now and actually join Buzzy's Moments Telegram group, please. And there's Buzzy's Moments YouTube channel as well. And Buzzy, talking about the YouTube channel, we actually need to get a show on together again. I know you spoke about Life Diet, and we were going to just do another one on Life Diet and what's your diet in your life, and not necessarily looking at food, but looking at what you emotionally and mentally fill your life with and what your emotional mental diet is. I'm not going to speak on that now because I think that is something that Buzz and I can actually pull off together. So rugby, very good stuff. Watch 2 or 3 movies this week. You know what? I haven't seen a good feel-good movie for a long time. As I said, I watched a couple of lots of rubbish and things like that. And these days, with everything being woke and having to have should I say restricted content, and it's just, you know what, it's absolutely ludicrous trying to find a good movie. And I got hold of this movie called Dog, D-O-G, Dog, and it's with Channing Tatum, and yeah, I quite like his acting. He's a pretty decent guy, and basically it's based on a chap from the war who was killed in the war, and he was a dog handler, and his dog had to go from the one side of the country to the other side. The chap's mother, the chap who passed away, his mother wanted the dog at the funeral, but nobody could touch this dog or handle this dog except for the handler. And he then, under circumstances, get roped into having to take this dog across the country. And then when they finished the funeral, he had to take him for euthanizing. But watch the story. It's one of those really feel good. You know what? You don't have to use much brain power. It's just one of those really nice movies. What's it? I finally finished watching the original Magnum PI. You don't get to beat Magnum PI, do you? No. Buzzy, Dog is a brilliant movie. Very good. Yeah, no, loved it. And Cameron says, Watchdog, very interesting movie. I just really did it. Carl, you watched it as well. Dog was very good. Wife, yes, shame. Cried at the end. The entertainment of the rest of the house, of course. Sis, nasty man. That's when you've got to console her. But yeah, you know what? To pull a little gem like that out was really nice for a change. There was no R-rated content. There was no, you know what? It was just one of those nice movies for a change. I was really glad. Yeah, Cam, I'm really, you know what? I must say my condolences to you as well. Cameron had to have his dog put down this week, and you know, I don't know. I know it's very hard saying goodbye to a human being, but I think your pet is so unconditional to you that you have that bond that you know you think will never ever go away because it's just there. I mean, I know when I come home in the evening, the only thing that sort of like builds up my chair are my dogs, my little. I know they're only tiny, but still they're tiny little unconditional things. They work well, but and especially a dog. A dog has this loyal bond with you that uh, you know the feeling. You guys know the feeling. It's just, yeah. Also watched The Lost City, also Channing Tatum movie, and Sandra Bullock. It was entertaining. I didn't expect much. I went into it with very low expectations, and it was entertaining. It was nice. If you don't really want to, I think they tried to do a lot of romancing the stone in it type of thing, whatever. It was also not a huge R-rated thing, which is nice. It's you don't get it too much these days. Um, but yeah, it was entertaining. It was a little bit of fun and funny, etc., etc. And yeah, Sandra Bullock does a good comedy movie. A little bit of Miss Congeniality coming out there again. Very, very nice. And then I don't know. This is a very old movie. I actually watched it this afternoon, and funnily enough, I don't seem to have watched it before. Is The Usual Suspects. Also very, very good. Yeah, losing a pet is hard. What's Hendo say? Stopped having pets a decade ago. You know, Hendo, I agree with you. It's probably, you know what, when my dog in Johannesburg passed, with the circumstances and that, I just stopped everything for 2 days. I wouldn't go to work. I didn't want to eat. I wasn't changing. I wasn't showering. I was just this like little absolutely devastated ball walking around for 2 days before I could pull it together again. And dude, if I take a look at you, 1974, if that's your birth date, you're not very far behind me. I just thought I'd mention that. Romancing the Stone was very good. But yeah, and what is going to say? Yes, you don't want to, but it is such a joy having a pet in your life. It is a responsibility as well. So I mean, if you can't, like I mean, when we're going away, etc., etc. Yeah, uh, you've got to make sure. I mean, like I don't want a pet hotel. It's like wow, they go roaming around with other dogs. And that's when I become South African. Apartheid. I don't want my dog mixing with other dogs. No, I'm kidding, but you know what? I just don't want this freaking huge boer bull running around with my little chihuahua over there, type of thing, etc., etc. But yeah, uh, so a pet, I think, has a great healing effect in your life as well. And Nisa got more hair than you. Dude, I'm a little bit worried when you actually start seeing through the top over here, because I don't know why I shower for the stream, because it's like, oh, it's stream, so I go and shower, brush teeth, spray deodorant. One would swear you guys could smell me, but yeah. Yeah. So yeah, looking at a couple of things. But Father's Day, taking a look at Father. You know what? How many of you are fortunate enough, are blessed enough to still have your fathers around? Um, and how many of you still actually uh should I say care for them? Yeah, yes, Buzz. I'm really going to do something on that, and Pastor Coral, I'm going to be chatting to you on these people as well. It's absolutely wonderful what they do for these people, and yeah, I think a little house is better than a chicken coop that they were in. Thank you. My wifey bringing me something to drink. I think she can hear my throat's going for it. But yeah, what for you that are blessed enough to still have your fathers around and have had your father, and even if they are not around, what did you get from your father? What did you learn from your father? Uh, I lost my father when I was 9. Um, and I think the biggest things that I struggle with is every year you forget more and you forget more and you forget more. I mean, we're talking 41 years ago. So, but there's still stuff that stays in your heart. There's many things I wish for. There's times that I wish for. There's regrets that I have, and not necessarily regrets with him. You know what? I regret what I could have learned from him that I didn't, what I could have done with him that I couldn't, and the type of person I could be today. And that's without how should I say, in Afrikaans, they say skipping my mom off. But I mean, without putting my mom down or anything like that, just the type of person I would have been today. Would I have been more responsible? Would I have been more confident? Would I have been, would there have been a different Andre today if my father did not pass away uh, when I was 9? And I know my mom did her very best. I mean, she put me into scouts and everything, and and that to try and give me the background and things. But you know what? I don't know if I took to heart what I learned from my father, the disciplines. He looked after his family well. Uh, you know what? I just remember him as a caring person, very strict yet protective. And yeah, so those of you who are still fortunate enough to have your father around, you know what? Cherish them. That's one thing I do enjoy about Cambodia. This country has a respect for your elders. And you know what? You would look after your parents. They would feel that it is necessary to look after their parents more than I would find in other countries, and a respect for the elders. And that where you would find it a lot these days. I mean, I just take a look at South Africa, but I don't want to say South Africa because it's Western countries. It's Western countries where old people are just dropped off at old age homes, and you know what? That's the final. You know what? We've now put pay to you. Thank you very much for what you did. Have a nice day and enjoy the rest of your life. Just when you know what when we used to visit in old age homes and that, to find these old people that haven't heard from their parents, that haven't heard from their children, that don't even get a phone call from their children. It's important to me when I finish here in the evenings. I give it about an hour because I know that my mom's having supper, and then I phone every Sunday evening. You know, whether I've got something to say or not, whether I'm tired, whether I'm dilapidated, or anything to that effect. I think the most important thing is making that phone call. It's not what you say. As Alison says, yeah, my biological dad passed on the 14th of October. Very sorry to hear that. He was American. After my folks' divorce, he went back to the US. Taught me that love cannot be separated by distance. That's wonderful. Goosebumps. Yeah, that is absolutely wonderful. Yeah, you know what? Once you've got that bond, and I think no distance can, you know what? And even if you find some people have had a hard life because it's their parent, they still love them. And then having a loving father just, you know what, makes you so much more fortunate. And it doesn't matter how much money you have had in your life. It doesn't matter how much was given to you, how much you got, how big your house was, how new your clothes were, or whatever. It's that protective, loving bond that you had. Let's get another one. Yeah, Alison says, stepdads from Ireland are a lovely place. There he taught me you don't have to be family to love each other. Yeah, you don't. You don't. You can have more parents than one or two. And yes, you can be a family by just being together, loving each other, and looking after each other. So yes, it's important. A family can be a family by being together, by loving each other unconditionally and looking after each other. I think these days we've just got so many hang-ups in life that we forget to be family. I mean, we have different families. I mean, you have your home family, which can be made up of different people. I mean, you have many divorced homes these days. You have many homes where people have passed away. My mom never remarried, so I grew up with a single parent. And yeah, it's crazy how people forget about family. I mean, you have your church family, you've got your sports club family, you've got a support family. Someone said to me the other day, you know what, friends? I said, yeah, no, I don't have many. But you know what I have are worth it. That's the difference. You know what? It used to be important to be liked by many. Now it's important to have the few real. That's so important. Yeah, no, thanks, expat. I have to see my mom. She's 89. She lives in PE and she's in frail care. And even though she says, you know what, it costs a lot of money. You must really not do it if you can't afford to. It'll be okay. But I know she's scratching the days off those calendars. And on Friday, well, the air tickets. Oh man, who's looked at air tickets lately? I know everything's going up, but my goodness me, air tickets. A week ago, we looked at them. They were $777 each return for Ina and I. So it would have been about 1,500 and something dollars each. But we couldn't buy then. We still had to wait to get paid still on the Thursday to be able to put the last little bit together for the tickets. I'm really coming through on a wing and a prayer at the moment. Yeah, something you've put there, quality more than quantity. Yes. Be genuine. But and a week later, to when we were buying the tickets, it went from 777 to 925 was the cheapest we could get. $925. It is absolute madness. I mean, just to let me get my phone. Yeah, it's very important when you're living in another country to have a currency converter. But I mean, if I could say to you, 777. Oh, geez. I'm in rands. No wonder. I was like, $48. That's not bad. 777 would be 12,500 rand per ticket for return. Now we had to buy at $925, which is basically 15,000 a ticket. It was mad, and it's just going up and up and up. What we got there, Hendo, airline tickets. Airline tickets purposefully raised to limit people flying. An agenda at play, discouraging flying. I don't know, but you know what? I have to. Absolutely ridiculous. Yeah, I agree. We have to. As I said, I could put it off until December. And I'm not saying anything's going to happen, but I think I would resent myself terribly if we did not make it through in July to go and see my mom and that. So you know what, we had to, and it's just going up and up and up. I'm hoping it doesn't. I don't want to say I'm hoping it doesn't come down, because there's friends of ours also wanting to go through. So for their sake, I'm hoping it comes down. But I was just afraid that it goes so high that I'm not going to be able to afford to buy the ticket. If I sit back and I go, okay, well, let's wait and see if it comes down, and it just goes up and up and up. I'm really not going to be able to go. So Friday we actually had to purchase tickets. And I mean, if you throw it into rands, it came to just from Cambodia to Johannesburg and back for Ina and I. Okay, in rands wise, it was 31,000 something. Mad. It is absolutely mad that is just to get there. Now you get to South Africa, and apparently things are pretty expensive there as well. It's 3 days in a guest house in Johannesburg. So we found a cheapy guest house. And when I say cheapy guest house, that was, sorry, man, I work in dollars at the moment over here. So it's, that's 111, I think, so $112. Yeah. For the 3 nights, that's 1,795 rand. That's before you've eaten anything, before you've used transport to anywhere, anything to that effect, drank a cup of coffee, etc., etc. I'm very, very fortunate. That's it. I agree, and I agree. You know what? I'll rather come by and less. You go and visit your mum. You go and visit your mum. For those of you with parents, go and give them a hug, go and give them a kiss, and just tell them you love them. It costs nothing, and it means the world to them. You'll regret it if you don't visit your mom. I believe you're doing the right thing. Thanks, Buzz. I like to believe that as well. Kids and everybody, we can leave it until the following year, Christmas, when we've at least saved up and we can actually take stuff down. And because we can't take presents down, anything to that effect, because we're going down. Let me actually tell you, we're going down. Yeah, I don't want like a room with a long drop for a toilet and a fan. I want something a little bit more better. Carl. I will actually. I'm a phone call behind you because we got in. We're staying in Alberton because obviously everything we want to do. I mean, my friend Barno's in Alberton. Carl, you guys are in Alberton. Church is in Alberton. Everything that we actually want to do while we're in Johannesburg is in Alberton. So that's why in Mayberry, I think it was Mayberry Guest Lodge, that we found a place. But yeah, I will actually speak to you. But so we're going down on the 20th, the evening of the 20th. So we're still going to be at school and working on the 20th. And then we'll go from there 7:25. So we'll go straight from school to the airport because we cannot afford to take days off. Because apart from this costing me, it's not like, oh, well, yeah, you get leave. I have 1 week's paid leave, but we're going from the 20th and we're coming back on the 3rd. We get back here on Friday the 4th. I've got to be back at school on the 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, on the 7th of August. I think, was it the 8th, 7th to 8th? Anyway, I think it's the Monday that I'm going to be back. But the problem is, it's not only money to pay out, because now for those additional 7 days that I'm away, I don't get paid for either. It's no work, no pay. So you're losing pay. But they don't say to you, yeah, oh, well, you know what, you're going away for a week. You're not going to be paid for a week and a half, and you get paid every 2 weeks. So this money at the end of this month, you don't have to pay rent. You still got to pay rent. You still got to pay electricity. And geez, did I get an electricity bill of note at the end of last month, because we've just been running with air conditioners. It's so blooming hot. I know it's hard for you guys to believe in South Africa, but it is so blooming hot here in Cambodia. It's just not funny. I mean, you've got like 35 degrees, but it feels like 41 type of thing when you're looking at the temperatures on the phones and things like that. But it's absolutely maddening at the temperatures. I'm looking. Hopefully, I'm finding winter still at the end of July, and I'll get a little bit of cold. We just got to try and see and borrow as much clothing as possible, because there's no ways. I don't own winter clothing. I don't own a jacket. The closest thing I've got to a jacket is one of those sleeveless, like little windbreakers, but the sleeveless ones. You know, those that make you look cool. Yeah, Cambodia feels like a sauna. It is. It's like a permanent sauna. You know, you go to gym, and one of the biggest points about the gym is it must be air conditioned. But I've got to go and borrow winter clothes, because I suppose I'll be needing winter clothes in end of July, and I don't own winter clothes. I don't. The only time I wear long pants and a tie is to work. But when I come back, it's shorts and a t-shirt. What's Buzz say? Please contact Carl, Andre, Allison in PE. Maybe she can help there. Yeah, look, in PE, I don't have to stay in a guest house. My aunt actually lives in PE, but she's going to England. Her son's taken her to sent her a ticket to go to England, and she lives in a retirement village type of thing over there. And she said that we can actually stay in her place. So so fortunately in PE we don't have to pay accommodation at all. If it's anything like Thailand, yeah, it definitely is. I get how hot it is. My first 3 months there, yes, unless yeah, you just dehydrate. Yeah, it's the same as Thailand. Yeah, you get that heavy, humid heat. Now I know it gets hot in South Africa, but you have a dry heat there. This is like a humid heat. I think the closer you get to KwaZulu-Natal, I think Buzz, I think you and Howick and that would find that you know what the heat is like there. But yeah, so we're getting pretty excited. So the evening at 7:25, we lift off from Cambodia. Hopefully nothing has been cancelled or moved, because I didn't take any insurance on cancellations or movements or anything like that. I'm just like, I got onto cheap flights and booked the flight. And it'll be nice to meet up. Alison, we can grab hold of a coffee somewhere, and hopefully we can get up with Ronaldo, and that'll be absolutely fantastic. But then we'll be, that's the Thursday night. Then we'll be there for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We get there the Thursday, I think. So Thursday, Friday, Saturday night, we'll be there. We'll fly to PE on the Sunday night. I think we've got a book. I said we'll book from Checkers Money Market. We'll get flights there, and hopefully there are still planes flying in South Africa, because the way that they're getting grounded there these days, it's ridiculous. But also, I mean, I was looking at just booking through Money Market in Checkers because it's the cheapest, and it's I think a return from Johannesburg to PE and back. The return flight, I think the cheapest is 5,100 rand for the two of us. So it's absolutely mad what we're paying on transport at the moment. Where's Alison? Yeah, I think it'll be fantastic. I can chat a hind leg of a donkey. So brace yourself if you're coming to chat with me. Grab a good couple of coffees there. But yeah, then we'll spend. I think I'll buy myself a good book. I don't know if I'll stream from there. Maybe I'm bored enough. I'll pack the laptop, but obviously can't pack the system. But we'll pack the laptop, and maybe we'll be bored enough on Sunday night to do a stream from South Africa or something like that. I've also, you know what, got to start when I get back. It'll also hopefully be less hectic. I've got about another 2 weeks of hectic left at school, and then it should be less hectic as well. And then we can actually start getting and going to places and that, and walking around a bit. And I've also got to used to filming wherever I go. I keep on forgetting to film. As I said, I have a couple of street photos, but I'll leave them for next week. Next week, I've either got to we must have either Carl on, or we must get Buzzy on, or I'll do what Nom. I'm also Buzzy. I didn't forget. I'm trying to get hold of. It's not somebody I speak to every day, so it's difficult to get hold of my friend Stephen. And he teaches online. I know they're in Cape somewhere at the moment, and the only way I can get hold of him is on Messenger. And you can to get him to actually chat to us about teaching online, because I know there's a couple of places in South Africa that do not places. There's a couple of people in South Africa that do online teaching from there. You actually sign up with a company like Cambly or Preply or Open English or something like that. There's people in Simripia that actually teach Open English online, and they are moving, I think, at the end of the year to, is it Brazil or something like that? Because it doesn't matter where you live. When you're working online, you just work online. So, I mean, you can go to South Africa, carry on working. You can go to the UK, carry on working. You can work wherever you are. It's obviously just finding cheaper countries to stay in that would be better. So, I mean, it's pointless going to the UK and working online. If you work in Southeast Asia, it's cheaper, things like that. Cameron, yeah, it would be great. First, just check with Alison. She might not want a stalker or an ugly bugger like me having that number. Yeah, I think Alison's teacher, she's a teacher as well. Yes. I'd love to go back to teaching again. I am in school and that, but I am a high school principal at the moment, and it's, oh geez, I think it's worse looking after the teachers than looking after the children. But yeah, we'll see, because I've really taken some pace this year, and I've actually said to Inan, we've looked and said, you know what, is it worth the money? Because it's not like a lot of money, but we're going to have to take a cut in pay and everything to that effect, which is difficult because where we stay at the moment is also pretty expensive. But we kind of like where we stay, because you can get much cheaper places to stay, but then you're in town, and above all the cars and the shops and everything, where, yeah, we're in a beret, which, as I said, is like a gated community. And then we would be... how should I say? It's nicer and quieter. Yeah, you know, the cars and the kids playing, but there's no shops and cars and streets and everything going on around you, etc., etc. It's a lot nicer, but I don't know. We'll have to see. We'll see what next year brings. When I say next year, I'm talking about next school year, which is in August. Our students, actually, the high school students stop from. They stop from the 15th of July, but we're still at school until the end of July, and then we have a week off the beginning of August, and then we're back for the next week, and then school opens up on the 15th of August for the new school year over here. And yes, as I said, from the 20th we're flying, and then 21st we'll be in Johannesburg, 22nd, 23rd. I think it's the 24th. I'm a little bit mixed up in dates. But anyway, the Sunday evening we fly to Port Elizabeth, and then we'll be in PE across from the Monday through to the following week, Wednesday. We fly back to Johannesburg, and then the Thursday we fly out to Cambodia. We come back home again. This is home. So yeah, what can I say? But looking forward to it, and yeah, we should have a lot of time on our hands, Alison. It will be really good to see you as well. Because my mom, she doesn't really want to come and stay out. She's at that stage where she likes where she is. She wants the security of her room, etc., etc. And so I can come fetch her in the mornings, and then she'll come to my aunt's place, and we can sit her down there quietly, and she can visit with us. We can't rush her through town or shops or anything like that. It's just not there. Senda got gated. Yeah, gated community is also definitely a lot more privacy, quiet. And we've got a bit of a garden and everything to that effect. No worries, Ray. Number principal is hectic. I've been thinking of teaching overseas again. School year is crazy. Grade 9 learners assaulted. Oh my goodness me. Yeah, no, that's mad. And another learner had, jeez. Yeah, look, we've got kids that are naughty and that, but I don't think we've had anyone assault a teacher or anything like that yet. They'll be kicked out of school, yeah. Yeah, no, there's a lot going on at the moment, Buzz. We're having to go to court to get expelled as a department. Good grief, that is mad. The department is blocking us. You see, we don't have a department like that. Guy is very. I know. We've got one chap that is got a little bit of an attitude or whatever, and we called his dad in the other day and said, "Listen, he can't come back next term. Thank you. Have a nice day," and that's it. But yeah, that sounds absolutely mad. And I think, Alison, I don't need to explain to you what it's like here because you've been in Thailand already, so you kind of know what Asia is like. It doesn't have the Western creature comforts, but it has its own. How should I say? Its own tranquility and things like that. And that's why I say I think I really maybe want to just go back to teaching instead of looking after the teachers, because you get some teachers that come across and actually make a career out of it and do good. And then others come where they couldn't make it where they were in their own countries. Brits, sorry, there was a cough. And they come here and they think they're the bee's knees, So just because you were a chicken over there and now over here, you're suddenly the rooster of the roost. As Louis Malherbe used to say, you don't want to be the main chicken on the farmyard. You want to be the eagle. You want to fly. You want to soar on eagle's wings. And you know what? The guys that walk around acting like the main chicken on the roost, just no. Hendo, what we're looking at, South African school is wild, out of control, and ANC is hell-bent on dumbing down the masses. Yeah, easier to control agenda at play. South African schools, you know what, it's sad when I take a look at, and I was saying to somebody the other day, you know what, like how you were taught, you were mannered at school, and if you got into trouble at school, there's no ways you would go home and tell your parents you got into trouble, because you'd get hammered again because you got into trouble at school. When you were out of school, you would be very well behaved. You would, ma'am, sir, people and speak to them properly. And you know what? A teacher was listened to. Now, I'm not saying that happens. Yeah, I mean, yeah, you've got naughty kids as well, and they're running around and they shout and they scream. But I don't think we have had I haven't experienced maliciousness in school where a teacher has been attacked or something to that effect. I think, yeah, you've had naughty, we had a Christmas party and the kids tried to, the secondary kids tried to sneak a little bit of alcohol in there or something to that effect. So that type of naughty you've had. Also, they're not, we have quite some kids, it's a private school, so obviously they're quite rich and they've got quite a bit of money, so you've got to limit the amount of money that they can bring to school. So we have an admin department that actually goes into the classrooms, to the horror of some teachers, and they just go through the kids' cases. They have like unscheduled searches. You will still be teaching. Next thing, knock, 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 admin search. And then next thing, the kids are like, step away from your desk and step away from your bag. And they go through those bags and they go through everything. And yeah, we had somebody with was it a throwing knife the one day? And they were like, you know what, you are suspended for the rest of the week. And I mean, he didn't use it. We just found it on them. And then, of course, they check money, and you are not allowed to have over a certain amount of money. Otherwise, that just goes a little bit out of hand over here. What's Cameron say? Hendo, did you see the guy that got his matric certificate the same year he was born? Well, you know what? The education-wise, the way that's dropping the pass rate these days, you won't need anything more than your birth knowledge to be able to get through there. I saw a thing on a clip or whatever. I don't know from which school it was. I have a nasty, nasty feeling it was from my old school, where a kid. Well, I actually saw two. I saw the one where the kid threw water over the teacher, and I also saw one where the kid actually hit the teacher, which was like ridiculous. Our schooling years in the 70s and 80s is completely different today. Definitely, definitely. And you know what? Parents as well. The problem is these days is parents as well. I'm not going to give the whole blame to the schools. I'm going to blame the parents as well. Parents don't want to be involved, and they are so busy being offended and being woke and being entitled that it's really you know what? Yeah, yes, my child, you teach him manners and you make him be a good person. No, it doesn't work like that. So, and we have that problem here as well, where you know what, you find parents that are just not interested, and then you find parents that are. I mean, I had a kid the other day, and she got 90% for maths, and she was like really, really torn up. You know what? Please check my math score. It's got to be wrong. I can't take this home. And I'm like, for crying out loud, you got 90% for maths. Yeah, but definitely it should be more. I can't take this home. And then you know what? Yeah. What's it? It was Bart Simpson on primary school. Cock naughty every week at the principal's office. Yeah, but it was a good naughty. Who was the one guy? There was one chap, one teacher was telling us about. He used to make businesses at school, and he in school insured against getting cuts. And so, you know what, you paid him like 50 cents a week or something like that as insurance. This is how the insurance companies work, bro. They already had those ideas. Insurance against getting cuts, you know, and then you would get a 5 cent or a 10 cent paid out for every cut that you got if you got jacked at school. And this was his business. People paid him for insurance against cuts, and then if they got cuts, they got paid out. Anyway, the teachers got to hear about this, and they eventually got clever. So then they called the kids up and said, right, time for cuts. And then they just like give a quick couple of pats. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 49, 50. And of course, his business went bankrupt because of that in the end. What's it, Cam? Yes, Cam. What did Cam say? And did you see the guy that got his matric? Zendo, yes, I saw it today. Buzzy says, let's get some up here onto the screen. I just watched America, 16 little kids killed and 2 teachers. Well, you know what? This is what I'm saying. Sometimes you've got to take a look at things and go, it's not South Africa. Sometimes it's Western that becomes a problem. Yeah. Arbot, ons was gebliksem. And that helped. These days, you know, people have got to get counselors and, you know, medication and it was like, you know what, you're not learning, bam, you learn. I think I would have been diagnosed with anxiety, depression, goodness knows what else, etc., at school. But instead, I was just like, you know what, you will learn. And I passed. I passed. I blame the parents and the government undermining parents' authority. Yeah. Look, unfortunately, South Africa's just got an absolute crap government. It really has. People are having to cope under their own devices. And the problem there is that they are busy impoverishing the middle class totally. Which is your everyday person. It's not your rich person, but it's your everyday person who goes to school, who works hard, cares for their family, and tries to make ends meet. And they're impoverishing. In the same time, they've absolutely obliterated the poor. And of course, dropping the education limit. It's almost like Cambodia's genocide. Pol Pot, and yeah, hopefully we get to chat about it, had the thing of wiping out anybody of intelligence. This is why they say it's taken so long to build up again, to get anybody who had some form of intelligence, some form of knowledge, was wiped out. And that's exactly what they're trying to do in South Africa. Socialistically, communistically, they're trying to wipe out any form of intelligence except for what they want in that country, and so that they can have their cake and eat it. And therefore, all the jailbirds, the convicts in government can still, I mean, Fikile Mbalula, I mean, that thing doesn't deserve to be sitting in a job, never mind as a minister in parliament. He's been minister of police, he's been minister of sports, he's now minister of transport. I mean, he is actually their ultimate weapon, because they just put him into the different ministries and he just trashes it for them. That's all. What Sendo say? Our naughty was like Trumpy. Remember, guess who's giving away his age now, Hendo? Trumpy, for crying out loud. Wow. You thought Romancing the Stone was bad. Trumpy. Jeez, dude. Not criminal behavior. I know. Yeah, good stuff. I mean, my friends, they were at an agricultural school, and the one evening they caught some barbers and went and threw them into their headmaster's pool. So the next morning he woke up and there were barbers swimming around his pool. And we used to move the teachers' cars in between walls so they couldn't move out and stuff like that. Yeah, spare the rod, spoil the child. Yeah, even biblically, you know what? If you spare the rod, you know, it's unfortunately how you learn. I mean, and it's life. Life is learned like that. If you put your finger on a hot plate, does the stove go, hang on, let me counsel you and show you what to do and look and read because you just might burn? No, it burns the living crap out of you. Alison says, many years ago, one of our learners copied a school sponsorship form and edited it, claiming she was collecting money for a church camp. My mom was a teacher, so I was raised very strictly, but today I'm glad she was strict. Yeah, you know, nothing wrong with strict. I think the stricter your parents were, the more responsible and more amicable you are in life afterwards, because you have responsibility and you have respect. We are bringing up a nation without respect. I really respect teachers. Went to a grandparent day last week. It was awesome. Oh, fantastic. Yeah. Cameron, die swart kat. Cam, you're giving away your age now as well. My goodness me, die swart kat. We'll have a die swart kat kom weer. Arbot. Yeah, I've flipping got the old age home on my stream tonight. Communists hates intellectual class, a threat to their power, grab and control. Yeah, it's exactly what happened. Yeah. And it's just not happening. Well, I can't say it's not happening violently in South Africa, because South Africa has more deaths in a day than what the Ukraine and Russian war is having. So, I mean, we having people killed, murdered at the rate of war, or higher than the rate of war in South Africa. And you know what the sad part is? It's numbing. It's so easy. That did you hear how that just flowed off my tongue? It didn't even sound surprised or horrified. It's just like, yeah, we've got more murders than the rate of war. It's become an acceptance. It's ridiculous. An acceptance that the schools are not spare the rod, and you get a bunch of wokies running around. Yeah. Yeah, Cameron, what is next? Yes, Hendo. I have a nasty feeling that you're actually a couple of years older than me. Kriki, noem maar asseblief. And Boet Farsi. Smash that like button. Yeah, please do that. That was before my time. Noem maar asseblief. Oh, geez. Well, some of it. But yeah, I agree. You know what? Schools these days, I mean, even in Cambodia, you can see the Western influence on students. However, the saving grace here is still the country's influence, the heritage of the country on respect and things like that. However, you do get your super rich who got rich out of nothing, and also hold on to their power and their position, and they're not very eager to bring up the poor. Yeah, you've got a very, very big gap. You either get poor, very poor, or filthy rich. I think almost your expat makes up the average Joe. Yeah, if you can say it. Brainwashed into thinking it's normal. Yeah, these days, you know what? I think South Africa is boiling a frog. I don't know if it's true. I've never tried to boil a frog. I must ask the science lab to do so. But if you throw a frog into hot water, it jumps straight out. But if you put a frog into cold water and you turn the heat up very, very slowly, very, very slowly, it accepts every level of heat that is going up, that is going up, that is going up. And eventually, the frog will die from being cooked alive. And I think that's very, very similar to what South Africa is happening at the moment. However, I do believe that the people are tenacious enough not to allow that to happen. You know, I think that the fact that we started, yeah, I mean, if you just take a look at the 80s were almost a rebellious switch time in the world, but it had a certain amount of respect built into it still. But from there, I'd usually say the 70s and 80s were a big turning point. And from there, it went up. And then, of course, in the 90s, when everything went for a ball, and South Africa didn't go for a ball in the early 90s. By the way, it was only up to, I think the first 10 years or so, it actually went well. Our GDPs and everything went up. It's only when Mbeki still got kicked out because who's win the rugby match? Mandela. Only when he and then Mbeki after him got thrown out and Old Zooms got put in because Mbeki still held back on the coffers of the country and wouldn't allow for spending, and that's why they threw him out. And then Zooms came in, and that's when everything just opened up, and that is when the country started losing standing and expenses and things like to that effect. And that's when it all just went free for all. It's like throwing down a box of sweeties in an orphanage. It'll just get ravished. And that's what happened in Parliament. And the box of sweeties got thrown down and it went, and that's where it went down. And South Africa, we've taken, okay, I mean, take a look at the fuel price. It went up, and we complain about it, we're unhappy about it, and we accept it. In life in general, I don't even want to say just South Africa. I'm just using South Africa now because of the situations. But in general, and then it goes up. So the murder rates are worse. We accept it. Farm murders come out. It's terrible. We accept it. Eventually, the fuel price, cost of food, cost of living, everything that gets taken, electricity expenses, etc., government, whatever. It just goes to a point, and every time the bar is raised, just that little bit, that we're unhappy, we're uncomfortable, and then we settle into it. And then we get lifted, and we're unhappy, we're uncomfortable, and then we're accepted. School behavior. I mean, school should just, you know what? If you don't behave and respect, you're expelled. Bam, that's it. But as Alison's saying, the flippin' department stands in your way. How mad can you get there? I think, however, South Africa's people are pretty resilient, and I do believe still grounded in a very religious, and you know what, for saying that, but I still think there is a Christian core in South Africa that has, and other religions, also as well. And I think South Africa's main religion is Christianity, but it's based on a core of morals, as are many other religions as well. And I think the fact of still having that moral core in the country still will keep the tenacity of people and the people in the country from having the whole country topple. Although it is getting to a dangerous point where the taps are going up and the taps are going up, and we accept. I mean, somebody said the other day, "Oh, I was robbed." And you know, no one turns around and goes, "Oh, that's terrible." It was like, "Oh, at least you got away with your life." That's not the point that is terrible. The point that is terrible is that we got robbed. Expats seem to make up the middle class in Cambodia. You don't get very much of a middle class. Even when you do get a middle class Cambodian, they're usually working really, really, really hard to try and maintain that middle class. Otherwise, it's like rich or very poor. Yeah, we had good TV shows, Alison. In 70s, we had good TV shows back then. We had great TV shows. Squildar, I watched Squildar the other. Orkney Snorkney, I loved that. I never missed that. And Squildar, I was actually watching. Bless his soul, Ben Kruger's passed away now. But I was watching it on YouTube. There was Squildar. Something that I'm watching on YouTube these days, Bonanza, you'll believe it or not. Yeah. SA went downhill when Zuma came in. SA did not go downhill when it became a democratic country. SA went downhill when the ANC showed their true colors. And that's the problem. There is no problem with South Africa being a democratic country. The problem is the party in power. That is the problem with South Africa. Being a democratic country, I think everybody has slipped into and accepted. I think that was the nicest acceptance that anyone has seen in the world, was an acceptance of a democratic country. So we've got to be very, very careful for those who long for apartheid. Apartheid was an absolute tragedy against human life. And you cannot compare that. In those days, the respect that people had, the morals that people had, those were good. But in the Western world, in everything that was changing in the 90s to the 2000s, especially your 2000s, you cannot, excuse me, you cannot compare. And that's why I say it's not the apartheid days. It was the morals and respect that mankind had. And even then we weren't that respectful, but we still had a limit. And even when we became a democratic country, we had one of the most beautiful transitions in the world to a democratic country and accepted into a democratic country. But only when those thick, flippin', monkey-pocked bananas got their dirty, grubby hands on the country's money and the ruling of the country, did the country start falling apart. It's not democracy that pulled South Africa down. It's the ANC. What is it? I'm relieved that my granddaughter's school has a brilliant parent body running it. Once again, a parent body. So when you got parents that are involved, parents that can, and it's happening more and more and more these days, you'll find the good schools, be they private or be they public, have a strong parental guidance and a strong parental working in it. And it's unfortunately where it should be the schools running it, it is the parents running it. No, Hendo's killing me. Dude, you're killing me, bro. You're killing me. Because I'm going to have to sing the Benny Bookworm song. Bytjie blaas en ons moet sing. Benny, sal jy die storie bring? Oh, no, crumbs. Go away, go away. Was it Ramaphosa stealing and hiding illicit gains under the mattress? Yeah, no. Yeah, I was talking about accepting. It's called desensitizing. We have become numb, desensitized. Where is it? I'm watching Obut and Worshi with Boo as Vet Cook Palace, bro. We have become too complacent, and I truly fear that most people are not racist. We all want to live happily in fear. That is the truth. That is the truth. I've always said that your average South African is happy to live together. It is in the country's best interest, in the government's best interest, to keep a racial chip on people's shoulders, and you will see that they promote it. And it usually falls between the rich and the arrogant, white and black, by the way, sadly, because they are the ones that need to hold on to their money. And you will find that the arrogance in South Africa runs through white and black. The party that is running the country are a bunch of communist jailbirds, convicts, communist convicts that run the country. And they've only learned one thing, and that is to stuff in your pockets. But you'll even see the country, instead of being amicably sorted out, I've seen that the country these days has started to learn from its roots, from its ANC roots. Everything now becomes a protest. And of course, with wokeness and leftists and those who are so offended, everything becomes a protest offense. I'm just so sick and tired of it. What did Alison say there? Most people are not racist. Yeah, Hendo says true. No, that's true. I mean, I used to go to a driving range there in Alberton, and there was a black guy and his two children, and they pulled up in their average everyday car. It wasn't a Mercedes Benz, BMW, or some Porsche. He took out his clubs and the two little kiddies, and I'd like, hello, and always saw them there, hello. And he smiled and he greeted me normally, and I greeted, and we were happy to see each other and go and have a couple of shots on the field and then back in and go back to our homes. And that's all people want, black and white in your middle class. But when you start getting to the arrogant rich, I think that's where you start getting people who want to keep in their pockets and don't and want to deny anybody any sun on their little heads or whatever. And then of course you get, and I'm not even putting our governing party in that class. Our governing party is a class above that. They are communistic convicts that are so greedy that cannot see the sun shine on their own people, never mind their country. Their view of success is having the country burned to the ground and ruling over the ashes and still being in power means success to them, not having a successfully strong economic country. Or going back to my political roots here, it breaks my heart that I still teach children who live in shacks with no amenities. I just wish they would realize that education is the key to a better life and toss this wokeness. Well, let me tell you, one of my teachers, she has a disabled child, handicapped child, and mentally handicapped, not physically. And her and her husband live in a studio apartment. And so when they were teaching online, she couldn't in her apartment, so she'd go onto the roof and pull a canvas over her head and on the laptop, and that's how she taught online. You have no idea, even in this current situation, how privileged we still are to be able to put a plate of food in front of us and to actually wake up and go to a revolting job or something like that. Whether it be revolting or not, be our outlook. Vili Vali Hendo. Pumpkin patch. No, you people are just too much. At least Andre sings better than me. Hendo, we'll have a what's it, a boat kabouter? Oh no, a hout kabouter. Yeah, no. These days they're fighting for rights of boat kabouters. But anyway, that was Pinocchio, Orbot. You making me think I'm gonna have terrible songs stuck in my head. Cancer Gangsters. Yeah, no, definitely. If we can get rid of them. But I'm gonna ask you another question. You remember Zap Mag? Yes, I remember Zap Mag and Monomarok. And you know what Monomarok is? Because it was actually supposed to be Kameraman spelled backwards. That's where they got Monomarok from. It's obviously not Kameraman spelled backwards, but they actually took Kameraman, spelled it backwards, and then pronounced it and got Monomarok. Techies, yeah, I still call techies these days. Die kabouters, Davie, they showed the latest technology. Monomarok in Grootbek, die high met Maya the bee. Yeah. Let me ask you a quick question. I know I've now actually reached my limit and we've passed F1, but I've really enjoyed actually having this chat. And I'd like to say, if the ANC had to go out of power, who do you think would be the better president? Or who would you want as president? Herman Mashaba or John Steenhuisen? Who would be the better president? Herman Mashaba or John Steenhuisen? There's a lot of split in that. I actually picked it up on Twitter the other day. Where people get the time to actually be on Twitter, I don't know. I was just on Twitter, I think, this afternoon, and I was actually looking at it. But yeah, I'll finish off with that one, and I'll say to you, who do you think would make, in this country of South Africa that we love so much, would you still put some old driftwood in there? Okay, I'm saying neither, but John would be a better choice. there's a huge split in that. A lot of people saying John, a lot of people are saying Herman. I don't know. You know, a lot of people are going, anything will be better than the ANC. And I'm going, maybe we should actually take a look at somebody who's got the future in mind and is working on the future and not the past. Maybe these guys work for the future, learning from the past. I don't know. What's Buzzy? John Steenhuisen. Difficult choice. Don't like either. Rather UIM or Freedom Front Plus arena. Yeah, UIM, Freedom Front Plus. I don't know. I think their outlook is maybe a little conservative for a democratic South Africa. I don't have any problem with their morals, but their interactivity, you don't see very, very much of them getting involved or doing anything. Maya the Bee. Oh, geez, I grew up with Maya and Heidi. I went to a fancy dress and won a prize. That photo is hidden far away, like Ronaldo on the railway tracks. Well, Alison, maybe we should actually bring up a show of our most embarrassing photo moments or our hidden away photos, take them out of the closet and chat about them on Pepper's Echo. Alison the Bee. But yeah, I think I'll leave you guys at that one today. We've had enough. We can go around in circles. I'm really looking forward to being down. I don't know if any of you are in Johannesburg. I will see Carl. I will see Berno. Alison, if you're down in PE, I'll definitely make a point of seeing you. And Ina and I have got quite a bit of time on our hands there, so I'd love to see Josie, old Ronaldo. Stripper chat. Oops, I'm throwing my mic all over the place. Stripper chat. No, I'm kidding. I don't think I'll make a good a stripper as Ronaldo. He's much better, and he's got the hair. We'll have to leave him at teasers. Yeah, I'll have to. I don't know what I'd have to do. I'd have to go for a sideshow at a fair or something. Alison says, I'd like to see a president who takes action and has good values and morals. You're going to need somebody with kahunas of steel there, because he's going to have. I don't want the job, because you're going to have to do so much cleaning out. And may you be kept on, because you will have so much hatred against you to start off with that. Yeah, all my photos when I was a kid got lost with all the moving. Yeah, I lost a lot of my photos, and I think I got a little envelope with a few that I kept. But in those days, we never had cell phones and that, so everything was not documented. That would be hilarious. Thanks for a great show. Sounds awesome. Yeah. So if anyone's around, it'll be good. What have we got? Dodgy family photos near Vatelga Hall. Kroonstad is a dead horse town. Nothing to see here. My daughter and them used to live in Kroonstad. Then they moved. I think she's in Bloemfontein now. So I don't know if that's much better. TRE, an awesome stream. No, thank you very, very much, Buzz. Thanks for always. Eslop, you sure they lost? Guys, I think it's people that makes our country beautiful. Hindo, I think the UK is blessed to be able to have a fantastic chappie like you there, just actually making it beautiful too. I am really, really honored and touched to always have such wonderful, beautiful people like yourselves. Thank you very much for a lovely stream. I didn't have anything prepped, but we actually had a really, really good, nice chat. So thank you very, very much. And I hope your week is absolutely wonderful. Buzzy, reach for the skies, because you're a star, my dear. That's where you belong, in the stars. And yeah, take care, guys. Be good. And if you can't be good, remember, be kind. Cheers.